Did you guys hear of the 75-year-old grandmother that wiped out her entire generation, including her son, wife, their children, her grandchildren? On Saturday, the 18th of March 2023, a 75-year-old woman by the name of Iforiti Oloro committed a crime that shocked the entire community of Apomu in Akure, Ondo State, where she set her son's house on fire that ended up killing every single person in it. But sources claimed that she only had one person in target, and that person was her daughter-in-law, her son's wife, Rachel. But clearly, for her age and for her alleged condition, it was clear she didn't carry out her plan very well, because her son Victor was also affected, as well as her grandchildren. But the question is it also possible that she meant to kill them all? And if she did, why did she do this? Well, the reason why this woman did this to her entire generation would shock you. So, on the day of the incident, around 2 a.m. in the early hours of the morning, pretty much in the middle of the night, Iforiti was said to be living in the same compound as her son and his family, but not exactly the same house per se. Sources claimed it was the same compound. She most likely had a segment of the building in the house to herself, but it could also be that she lived in the same house as them. Although a particular source did claim that the house was her husband's house, that is the 75-year-old grandmother's house, which meant that Victor, her son, was still living in the family house. And it could also mean that the entire building was still Iforiti's own property, which most likely would have made her think she had the right to do what she did. Clearly, this woman had it planned out, because she had gathered palm fronds, dried palm fronds. She had been stocking them, preparing for this specific evil act. And on that day, around 2 a.m., she gathered all of them around the house and collected the fuel that her son had bought the previous day for the generator and pretty much set the house on fire. It was also noted that she had had time to shut the doors and the windows, preventing them from escaping. It was when some of the neighbors heard screaming and saw smoke that they knew something was up, and they quickly ran to the family to rescue them. In as much as the neighbors were not quick, they were successful enough to rescue Victor, his wife, and the children, but they had already suffered some burns before they could put out the fire, and instantly, as some sources claimed, they were rushed to the hospital. It was in the hospital that they all eventually began to give up the ghost. However, as at the time of making this video, it was said that one of the child of Victor survived. It's not clear if, there is an update on that, or if eventually something else happened to the child, but one of the grandchild of Iforiti seemed to be in the hospital at the time of gathering this information. However, after the entire incident blew up and the case became a thing, it was soon learned that the grandmother, Iforiti, may have been behind it, even though no one saw her directly. Probably maybe because she survived. At the same time, possibly she did not live in the same house as them. But this is how people may have suspected that she did not mean to hurt her son in the process, because it was said when she heard that Victor, her son, passed, she was unable to eat. She couldn't eat. She was devastated. She cried. She didn't want anything to happen to her son or her grandchildren. Clearly, she meant to only hurt the daughter-in-law, Rachel. Iforiti was miserable, and she even attempted to hurt herself, but people held her back. It was soon discovered and brought to the notice of the investigation that Iforiti had serious beef with her daughter-in-law, Rachel. It's not clear the situation or the origin, but people could recall that they had an issue in the past where Iforiti threw Rachel's mobile phone into a well, a phone that Rachel was using for her POS business, and that kind of devastated Rachel, and because of that, Rachel started starving the woman. And when Iforiti was taken into police custody and arrested for questioning, because clearly she was the number one suspect, she did admit that she did it, and the reason why she did it was because her children or her son's wife was deliberately starving her and punishing her and torturing her, and she was tired and fed up. And I guess that goes back to when she threw Rachel's mobile phone into the well and Rachel decided not to give her food as a result of punishing her. At the same time, neighbors who spoke to the police suspected or pointed out their suspicion that they believed Iforiti might have been mentally challenged, because in the previous year, she had attempted to do something stupid to herself many times, and she had done some things that were questionable and not normal to the right sense of people. And because of that, they assumed she wasn't mentally stable. However, it's not clear if Victor and his wife saw it as that or if Rachel saw it as that, but clearly Rachel may have not seen it as that due to the fact that she allegedly decided to starve the woman after the woman messed up with her business. Sadly, a few days in police custody, Iforiti did not make it. It's not clear what caused her death, but it was said she died in custody. Obviously, from the devastation of everything that had just happened, I mean, I don't imagine how she planned on surviving from here onwards. Even if she was starved for a moment, now that she had lost her entire generation, how does she plan to even take care of herself? How does she plan to even eat? And clearly the devastation from losing her son and knowing that she caused it doesn't seem like something she most likely could live with herself for, at least for the longest of time. It's such an unfortunate incident and a very painful story. It's not clear how this could have been avoided. It's just something you can't foresee. If it was something you could say, oh, she should not have done this, he should not have done that. Clearly, this woman had it in her mind to hurt someone, and she ended up hurting her entire lineage. It's a good thing she lives to regret it. It's a good thing she got held accountable for, and it's unfortunate that it had to end this way for everyone involved. For the remaining grandchild who was in the hospital, there is no words on whether or not the child made it. There is no article out there. If anyone knows that information, you can feel free to let us know in the comments. I couldn't find it anywhere. But I do hope that grandchild lives. I do hope he survives and hopefully go on to carry the family name and move on with his life. Because whatever issue the grandmother had with the mother is none of his business. They did not need to suffer for whatever the issue was. No one needed to suffer for that. It's just unfortunate that it went this far. It's just very sad. I keep saying this thing a lot. We live in a society where old people are seen as innocent, harmless, especially old women. We tend to see them and give them a lot of pass. It's good to be respectful, but incidents like this reminds us that people can be really horrible regardless of their age and regardless of their gender. I don't trust anyone. You could see a frail old woman and you're like, oh, she's harmless. Oh, there's nothing she can do. Oh, if she tried to touch me, I'll beat her and push her and she'll break her waist. And then you're sleeping in your house and she's setting up palm fronds and setting your house on fire. And I think this is the evidence here. I've had this argument with a lot of people that go, no, old women are these, children, even children too can be really, really dangerous. Everybody is dangerous. So anything that has life in them is capable of evil. It's just sad that this horrible thing was done by an elderly woman who clearly people would look by and say, oh, she can hurt a fly. Oh, she's so cute. Oh, the elderly, we need to love and respect them. Oh, and yet she did this. She was capable of doing this. Literally wiped out our entire generation, all because they did not give her food. It's painful and it's hurtful. At the same time, it's tragic. You guys let me know what you think about the story in the comment below. Do you think this woman was acting out of hatred for the wife? Because I feel like if she wanted to target the wife, she would have done so directly. She did not need to. She was clearly aware that her son and her grandchildren were in the house when she was setting it on fire. So I don't possibly see how she thought it was only going to affect the wife. I actually do not see it. I don't think so. It seemed as if to me she did what she did and decided to regret later because she knew every other person could get hurt in it. Every other person could be affected. She clearly did not consider anyone else, which interprets to me that she meant to hurt everyone in that house. But I guess the fact that she was devastated that her son passed was what made a lot of people feel that she didn't want to hurt the son. If that's what it said, then that's what it said. For me, I don't know. But you guys let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, share, comment your thoughts, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Thank you guys for watching.